This chapter builds on a simple definition of democracy. Step by step, we work out the meaning of the terms involved in this definition. The aim here is to understand clearly the bare minimum features of a democratic form of government. After going through this chapter, we should be able to distinguish a democratic form of government for a non-democratic government. Towards the end of this chapter, we step beyond this minimal objective and introduce a broader idea of democracy. Democracy is the most prevalent form of government in the world today, and it is expanding to more countries. But why is it so? What makes it better than other forms of government? That is the second big question that we take up in this chapter. What is democracy? We have already read about different forms of government, and the basis of your understanding of democracy so far. Mentioning a few examples, write down some common features of democratic governments, non-democratic governments. Why define democracy? Before we proceed further, let us first take note an objection by Mary. She does not like the way of defining democracy and wants to ask some basic questions here. Teacher multi-line response to a question asked of the class from the discussion. What is democracy? Democracy is a form of government. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Democracy. What is democracy? Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. The rulers are elected by the people. So what is democracy? Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. What is democracy? Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This is a useful starting point. This definition allows us to separate democracy from forms of government that are clearly not democratic. The army rulers of Myanmar were not elected by the people. Those who happened to be in control of the army became the rulers of the country. People had no say in this decision. Dictators like Pinochet are not elected by the people. Dictator like Pinochet, Chile, are not elected by the people. This also applies to monarchies. This king of Saudi Arabia rule not because the people have chosen them to do so, but because they happen to be born into the royal family. This simple definition is not adequate. It reminds us that democracy is people's rule. It reminds us that democracy is people's rule. But if we use this definition in an unthinking manner, we would end up calling almost every government that holds an election a democracy. That would be very misleading. As we shall find our out in chapter 3, every government in contemporary world wants to be called a democracy, even if it is not so. That is why we need a carefully distinguish between a government that is a democracy and one that pretends to be one. We can do so by understanding each word in this definition carefully and spelling out the features of a democratic government. Check your progress with the curtain. So now we are studying about features of democracy. Feature. Tell me, what is democracy? Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. So the feature of democracy. The features of democracy. We have started with a simple definition that democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This raises many questions. So we have started with a simple definition that democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This raises many questions. What are they? They are, who are the rulers in this definition? A definition re rulers kiye. Who are the rulers in this definition? Which officials must be elected for any government to be called a democracy? Which decisions may be taken by non-elected officials in a democracy? What kind of election? What kind of election constitute a democracy? Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. This raises many questions like, who are the rulers? What kind of election constitutes? And who are the people who can elect the rulers or get elected as rulers? Finally, what kind of a form of government is democracy? Can elected rulers do whatever they want in a democracy? Or must a democratic government function with some limits? Is it necessary for a democracy to respect some rights of the citizens? Let us consider each of those questions with the help of some examples. Major decisions by elected leaders. In Pakistan, major decisions by elected leaders. In Pakistan, General Musharraf led a military coup in October 19 99. He overthrew a democratically elected government and declared himself the chief exclusive of the country. Later, the changes his designation to president and in 2002 held a referendum in the country that granted him a 5-year extension. Pakistani media, human rights organization and democracy activists said that the, the referendum was based on rulers. They cannot take the final decision. The power to take final decision rested with army officials and with General Musharrafs, and none of them were elected by the people. This happens in many dictatorships and monarchies. They, for, they formally have an elected parliaments and government, but the real power is with those who are not elected. In in a few countries, the real power was with some external powers and not with locally elected representatives. This cannot be called people's rule. This gives us the first feature. In a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. This gives us the first feature. In a democracy, the final decisions making power must rest with those elected by the people. Congress and Constitution of Pakistan, according to this order, the President can dismiss the National and Provisional Assemblies. The work of the Civilization Cabinet is suppressed by a National Security Council which is dominated by military officers. After passing the law, elections were held to the National and Provisional Assemblies. So Pakistan has had elections, elected representatives have some powers, but the final power rested with military officials and General Musharraf himself. Clearly, there are many reasons why Pakistan under General Musharraf should not become a democracy. But let us focus on the those. Can we say that the rulers are elected by the people in Pakistan? Not quite. Not quite. People may have elected their representatives to the national and the provisional assemblies, but those elected representatives were not really the rulers. They cannot take the final decision. Free and fair electoral competition. Free and fair. Free. Free and fair. Hello, good morning.